All right, here I drew some particularly well sculpted male physiques. And some of them are like Olympic gymnasts, some of them are bronze era bodybuilders, like people that's body built before bodybuilding was even a thing, before steroids were even a thing. And one of them is actually myself, uh, but I'm not gonna say which one. And so for me, when it comes to drawing like the male physique, right? I guess in terms of musculature, it's very easy, especially since I myself and is I am a male, and I also do work out, so it's kind of easy to identify and to be able to know and how and where to place those muscle groups a lot better than, let's say, if I were to try and draw female figures. And like I did mention this before in the channel, like how it's probably easier for a female, woman to draw female figures a lot more effortlessly than male figures, off the top of her head. Now I was using reference, of course, because these are like I'm drawing people that like actually exist, um, just to kind of like help and whatnot. And again, it does help. Like if you really want to learn anatomy and get better at anatomy, it does help to look at like lean, like muscular people, or like at least like well built, well defined people. So you can kind of just like almost kind of like get an exaggeration of like where these muscle groups are and how they're placed and how the tendons attach to the muscles and how the muscles can flex and move in these specific ways. So that way when you're drawing like other different figures, just kind of like you can kind of better identify it, right? Unless you just want to draw buff people, you can go ahead and do that. But so here in general, just moving aside from what I'm drawing, I want to talk about like a bit of like routine, like just the aspect of having a routine and just kind of like showing up for yourself in specific moments. Like just my last video, I was talking about, I believe, inconsistency. And so I feel like if you don't have a routine, then you're going to succumb to inconsistency, right? If you don't have like an exact part of the day where you're going to focus on this for this long, or you're going to do this specifically, then it kind of ends up, ruining things, right? We are creatures of habit. We have our own routines, whether we realize it or not. And it's either these routines are destructive or these routines are productive, right? The standard routine is probably like get up, wash your face, brush your teeth, eat breakfast, go to work, and then you come home from work, then you sit down and you watch TV or something like that, and then you go to bed, and then rinse and repeat every day, right? And basically, if we form better habits, or just if we form a routine, like a daily routine or a morning routine or something like that, that allows us to perform like better habits, then incrementally over time we're going to improve, right? So like I want to get more into the routine of drawing, like at a specific time, like maybe like after my workout or after I take my sister to her bus stop. So that way, like, even if I can't give it my all every time when I'm drawing, that I can at least know, like, let this be the time that I sit down and draw, right? Let this be the time that I sit down. I try and do some figure studying. Maybe I work on a painting. I just do something that's relatively creative, right, in terms of drawing or painting, just so I can develop those skills over time and just so I can get used to it. And when I was young, when I was like first getting into art, I would draw like every day at any moment, any chance I could get. I would draw like in class. I would draw on the scratch sheet of paper that they would give us in math class. I'd bring whatever sketchbook I'd have. I'd always have a sketchbook in my book bag. And I would draw during school. I'd draw at home. I would draw in the morning before I had to go to school. Things like that, right? But it's like, that's kind of like that beginner's rush in a way that you'll get, especially when you're really getting into something. You'll like want to do it all day, every day. But once you're starting to get like other things in life, like maybe you start to get a job, maybe you have familial things. Maybe you're in college and you really have to focus in on school and stuff like that, or just whatever the case may be. We might not be able to draw every day, all day, every day, like how middle school me was able to do. So it's going to be best to be able to have a routine set in place. And sometimes we might not always want to draw every day, all day, every day, or at least not all day, right? But I feel like getting to some type of weekly to daily routine or habit is going to allow for further progress, right? Because imagine you just let like 3 weeks blow by and you haven't even drawn a single thing, right? Or you haven't wrote a single song, you haven't, I don't know, written a single line in whatever, I don't know, book or story you're trying to make, and you just let it all fly by, right? And then you pick it back up, and and you do it kind of like here and there, maybe just one night during midnight. You know what, I'm gonna draw. And then you stay up to 2 a.m. drawing, and then the next day, you maybe do it in the morning, but then you don't do it again for like the next 3 days. No, you need to have a specific time. Kind of treat it like it's a work schedule, So that way it's just like you take that specific time, let's say from like, I don't know, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. You just take that exact time and you focus completely on whatever you're going to create, right? You kind of like have that specific hour and a half or hour of just like that little bubble of creativity, right? And then once that time is up, if you feel inclined to, you can keep going, right? You can keep creating, or you can just stop, right? You can just stop completely, and then maybe pick it back up later. But of course, you always want to continue it in the next day, right? And this was something that Rick Rubin was talking about in his book, The Creative Act, which is a great book. I've been like reading back over it every now and then. And it's like little short chapters. It's like a 400-page book, but little short chapters that you can read in like a minute, and like, I don't know, 3 minutes or something. And it's very, very insightful. And he talked about like building routine, which allows for consistency. And just like how I was talking about before, just kind of showing up for yourself, or showing up for like the creative act, basically the creativity. And even if you can't like put your 100,000%, I guess, artistry or focus on it. You can do something, something is better than nothing, right? Like, let's say you want to do push-ups and you don't really feel like doing push-ups. You do at least one push-up, right? And then the next day you can do at least one push-up. It's something is better than nothing, right? People think that you have to be inspired, or that you have to be complete, the moons and the stars, they have to align, and you have to have like complete and total inspiration and motivation to make art, but you don't have to do that, right? And it's like you're kind of relying on that kind of system, that kind of way of thinking a lot more than like actually basically like exercising your creative muscle. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about that in my last video, or in a past video, where it's just this creative muscle that you're exercising, that you're working out, and it's going to develop better, right? Creativity, in my opinion, is a skill, and that's something, all skills can be learned. So you can learn creativity, you can learn to be inspired further, you can learn to be in the present moment, you can learn to do mindless creation, right? You can learn to draw better, you can learn this, that, do, whatever, right? So you have to be able to just be willing to sit yourself down and just, like, I don't know, put pencil to paper, put pencil to paper, put pen to paper, put words on the paper, whatever your own specific creative medium is that you like. Maybe that's, just even exercise or something like that. Just do some stretching, just do some like practice drawings, just type out your feelings, or you can just journal a little bit just to kind of warm things up, get things warmed up. And then you might just kind of like get into it, right? Because sometimes it might not be that, oh, we're not inspired. Oh, I'm not motivated. Sometimes we just need to kind of like get the ball rolling a little bit. We just need to get into it a little bit. We just need to like clear our mind. We just need to like just do some little doodles on a piece of paper. And then, now we're like actually getting into the state of creation. And now we're actually doing something rather than not having had done anything in the first place. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. See you guys in the next one. Peace out. Check out my other videos if you'd like.